Prime Minister, the former president of the Australian Labor Party, Warren Mundine, recently left the party, and he was quite critical of your record on addressing Indigenous disadvantage. Why should the rest of Indigenous Australia trust Labor when we see the highest ranking, or the former highest ranking Indigenous person within the party walk away?
Well, I think Warren can answer for himself on his own views, but I'm very clear on my view about what the government has done, what we've sought to achieve and what we will build for the future. We came into government in 2007 after what I think had been some fairly divisive times in Australia about issues for Indigenous Australia. We moved to try and bring the nation together behind the apology to the stolen generations, and we've continued to move to invest in helping Indigenous Australians around the country get a job, have an economic future, make sure kids get a world-class education, close life expectancy, and the gap in life expectancy, and we've been very single-minded about that. So I am happy for us to be judged on our record and also judged on the plans we've got for the future, including working in partnership with Indigenous Australians to see that recognition in our Constitution, which I think would be another great moment in our nation's story.
We've also seen Toto Sansbury, who ran for Labor in the seat of Grey at the last election. He's also recently left the Labor Party, and he even went as far to say as the Labor Party had a big element of racism in it. What do you say to that?
Well, once again, individuals will have their own views, but I don't think it's possible to look at what this government has achieved, the way in which we've worked with Indigenous Australians, and see anything other than a spirit of partnership and respect.
It's quite surprising to a lot of people that the Labor Party have never had an Indigenous member in either house of federal parliament. Why can't the party find a safe seat for an Aboriginal candidate?
Well, I think our party will look to represent Indigenous Australians and the diversity of the Australian community generally. I think it's a great thing that Ken Wyatt was elected in Western Australia as a Liberal, and I think for all political parties, including our own, we've got to make sure that we are giving opportunities to Indigenous Australians, so that's something for the future.
I wanted to ask about the recent Northern Territory election, where we saw in a lot of the bush electorates, the bush seats, people that may have traditionally voted Labor actually changed their vote and voted for the CLP. Do you think the Labor Party in the Territory took the bush vote for granted?
From the days in which Gough Whitlam trickled dirt into the hand of Vincent Lingiari to signal our understanding of land rights, we all remember Prime Minister Hawke handing Uluru back to its Indigenous owners. We all remember the work of Prime Minister Keating after the Mabo and Wick decisions. We all remember the remarkable moment when Prime Minister Rudd apologised to the stolen generations. But I've also been very troubled that we have never been able to count amongst our number an Indigenous Australian. There has never been an Indigenous Australian who has served as a federal Labor representative. I'm determined that at the 2013 election we change that. And that's why I'm very proud to be standing here with Nova Peris and to be in a position to announce that I have invited Nova to join the Australian Labor Party, and I have invited her to seek pre-selection for the Senate in the Northern Territory.